Welcome to the Conscious Creative Podcast, your weekly dose of soul-to-soul conversation that will have you saying peace out to your 9 to 5 to explore in your sacred calling. The topics center around conscious business and interviews with the folks who started them. We'll be exploring the art of being human and what it takes to live your life fully expressed and financially free. I'm Christina Gomes, and I went from high-paying job as a psychotherapist to leaving it all behind for my desire to travel the world playing my original music, to becoming the CEO and soulpreneur founder of freeyourcreativity.org, where I help visionary leaders create the businesses of their wildest dreams. If you have a sacred calling, stick around. My prayer is that you become the permission slip for the collective as you hear the soul-inspiring stories that call you forth into creative action. Let's get to the soul. Hello, I'm about to go live with my extraordinary client, Tiffany, who has just had amazing results in her evolution, in her offerings, and in my program, the Conscious Creative Business Immersion. So Tiffany is here as the creator of the Wild Mama Master Plan, and I'm going to bring her on just right now. Amazing. Hello, Tiffany.
Oh, hi.
Two cats getting together. Wow, I'm seeing the nature outside your window. I wanted to let you know we are streaming live, or remind you, we're streaming live in my Wild, Wealthy, and well-known soulpreneurs group. I was just talking about you and expressing all the lovely wins that you've recently had. But I'd love for you to introduce yourself to my audience and let them know a little bit about who you are and what you're all about.
Sure. Well, hi, Christina.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Tiff. I live in Honolulu, Hawaii. And that's why it's not too bright yet. Sun is still coming up at 7 a.m. I'm a mama. I have 3 kids, 15, 13, and 5. And I run a business called Wild Mama, with a cohort program called the Mama Master Plan program. I've been doing that for about 4 years now. And it's really just centered on supporting mamas coming into the fullness of their visions, helping mamas move through their stuckness, and really creating a master plan in order to create the life that they want. And it's all based on what I've done for myself to create the life that I want. I live in Hawaii, but I didn't always live here. I moved here 5 years ago from Chicago. And that was a huge dream of mine, to live in a warm location, have my own business that I can work from anywhere. Just help mamas make their dreams a reality.
Oh, that sounds so beautiful. I'm a cat mom. I know I say that often, but wow, to be able to do what we get to do in this life of living full out and doing it from amazing places in the world. Mm. Many of my audience members know I live on top of a mountain in a beautiful location in Guatemala. And it is about having that plan and seeing it all the way through. So I'm glad that you spoke on that. And that's what your programs and offerings offer to people. And today I wanted to speak a little bit about what it actually takes. And this interview series sprouted from a conversation that Tiffany and I had around, there's so many coaches, there's so many people that just go out there, they start marketing their programs and they're like, live your dream life. We're like, cool, yeah, we're doing it. But wouldn't it be lovely if more and more people spoke about what it actually took? Because to attract clients, to move to a faraway land that you've never lived before, to really go after your dreams and be living your dream life, there had to be steps and support and expansions along the way, lots of ebbs and flows. So today's interview is all about what it really takes. And I wanted to talk first about your amazing win that you just had, calling in 7, I think, clients. Is
6,
that true?
6? It ended up being 6. Yeah.
6 is also a lovely number.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I just launched my seventh cohort. And yeah, called in six mamas. And what is beautiful is that since I've been doing this program for 4 years, I had a lot of alumni re-sign up, which for me was kind of a huge thing because I raised my price this time more than double what it was the last round. But for some of my alumni who joined 4 years ago, they paid only like $500 or $1,000. And so some of them are paying more than 5 times, 10 times what they paid in my initial rounds. And so I was actually the most scared that alumni would not want to pay my newer price. And I have majority alumni in this cohort, and I did not offer any discounts or scholarships or anything like that. Which is the first time I've always offered that, but this time I just didn't want to. It wasn't aligned for me. And so, yeah, to have six mamas pay full price, for pay in full, it was fucking awesome. So, yeah.
For pay in full. Wow. This is so inspiring me as well. Even though like this is what it's all about for me. I help women to launch, women and men, but soul-led leaders launch their programs and call in and their clients, their dream to work with clients. But the thing that we're really touching on in this interview series is this piece about raising your price. And what I'm hearing is that you had to really own that you were a high value guide, that your guidance is worth way more than what you maybe first started out charging. And how lucky for those mamas at the time that they received your offerings at the price that they received it in the beginning. But what I'm noticing for you and many of my clients is that once we own the value of our gifts, presence, and wisdom, it's just natural that other people are going, yes, of course. And it sounds like even some mamas were like, yeah, it should have been that price all along. And they felt really like they were getting such an amazing deal way back then. And we're willing, not only willing, but like signing up, paying in full to work with you at 5 times, even 10 times the price. How did that feel for you and your body?
Yeah, I mean, it felt great. I felt like I needed to win my alumni over because I was like, if alumni are willing to pay, I feel like other people are willing to pay. But also, they know me the most. And so I think that because they've been around so long, they do understand the value in a different kind of way. So it speaks volumes when alumni re-sign up or want to continue to work with you. And my background is business, organizational development, strategic planning. So I also know the value of return clients. Like you can't build a sustainable business on all new business. It has to also be returning, client retention. And so I had to like realize that my alumni are that. And I wasn't thinking about that initially. And I realized that, oh, actually my ability to retain alumni for 4 years and folks want to then pay way more than they paid before. That actually does speak to my business, and it speaks to what I am offering and that I am bringing value to them. And so, yeah, I feel like it for me, it just highlighted kind of like, I guess what I was bringing to the table outside of just paid offerings, but just the value of the community and the transformation over time. And I'm like, oh yeah, like, that's what I love. I love that about business is it's the relationships. And I feel like that is what builds a sustainable business over time is great relationships, trusting long-term relationships. But like, based on what you were saying earlier about like valuing myself as a high value guide, I think it was that. And it was also getting very clear on my personal goals and my financial goals. Because right now I'm still working a full-time job and I have 3 kids and a lot going on. And so I had to accept that if I truly want to grow, like I don't want to take on too many clients right now. So in order for me to go and still reach my goals, I have to raise my price. And so it wasn't only valuing myself, but it was also like I had to get very clear and committed to what I was saying that I wanted. And that was a clear way to do it, was to raise my price. And I think in raising my price, I then had to step in more to, okay, yeah, like what is the value of what I'm offering? Like, who am I? And really fucking owning it, because that's really what it takes. But it's taken me a while, to build up to this point.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And as we're talking about what it really takes, time is what I'm hearing as well. And that's something that you brought to our group coaching call when you were celebrating. You really wanted to make sure that the folks because I work with folks who are either designing or refining their offerings. You were in the refinement phase, and you saw that there were some folks in our cohort that were designing their offering for the first time. And so I really thought it was beautiful and in integrity that you were really open around how long you've been doing this. And it doesn't have to take 4 years to be confident around our ability to put out offers. And it was quicker for you. I mean, you've been doing this for 4 years, but what I'm hearing of what it takes and longer, 4 years is like maybe the offering has been out, but longer. Sure. Longer. This is a lifelong dream. Long. Out the womb. We're like born for something bigger. And I wanted to reveal to the audience as well of like, we think we're going to hire the coach and our first time launching, we're going to have this $100,000 launch. And for some people that, I'm not going to squish anyone's dreams. It could happen, but like, why don't you tell us about that time and the divine timing that it took for you to have that 5-figure launch this round?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time coming. And I feel like a lot of marketing coaches and just like social media really gives a false idea of what it takes for the majority of us. Yes, there are a few that will have their, 6-figure launch or whatever. But I think that like constantly putting that out as if it's the norm, it's a disservice to folks where it does take time. And for me, a big thing that I am aligning to, that my whole course and program is based on, is the sacred medicine wheel, right? It's the alignment to the seasons. So for me, it's not okay for me to burn out along the way. I was not willing to build a business at the expense of myself or my family. And so for me, I think the time piece is also alignment to my values, right? That I want to build over time and I want to build sustainably, because I know this is my life's work. This is my legacy work, and I'm building for the next 7 generations. And so for me, I'm like, yeah, I could build in a year, but if my business is gone in the next 2 years, that is not in alignment with my long-term vision. That does not serve the next 7 generations. It doesn't serve my family. It doesn't serve me. And so I think my commitment to the timing and what it's going to take, and the very non-linear path that it has taken, has been about honoring my own self. And one of my core values is to work with myself, not against myself. And so as a mama, as a woman, we have our rhythms, right? Like we have peaks, we have valleys, we go through shit. We went through a whole damn pandemic. Like, how am I supposed to like believe that I'm going to be like, just okay 100% all the time? I just don't think that that's realistic. And I've had to learn to shed those ideas based on some of I think this false narrative that we're taught and given. And so for me, I think honoring time is about my longer term vision. I'm very clear about what I'm building. I'm very clear about my vision, very clear about my values, very clear about the legacy that I want to leave. And I'm more committed to that than I am short-term growth. I have short-term wins, yes, but I've sold, big ticket items or whatever, but selling one is very different than selling many and on repeat. And I'm trying to build and sell many. And so I'm trying to build the systems. I'm trying to build like the whole structure that supports that, because I know the kind of life that I want to live. And I don't want to be working all the time, but I do want to have a 7-figure business. And so it's like, I have to know what that actually takes. And for me, it takes time. And anyone that I admire and anyone that I see truly building something, they did not get there overnight. Especially as a Black or brown woman, you likely definitely didn't get there overnight. And so, you know, I think it's just a matter of like accepting reality and accepting that, you know, things do take time. But that's also a part of the joy of living, that I can be building a business that's going to be here after I'm gone, while also enjoying my life and being with my kids and hiking and surfing and enjoying Hawaii. Like, that's more of the kind of life that I want to live. And that is my mama master plan. Like, that is my ideal lifestyle, to be building that and building my legacy while also living and enjoying my life. I'm not trying to not enjoy my life.
Why? Like, why else would we do this? Sometimes I'm like, money's meant to be spent, right? We're earning money so that we can like live nice, have a gong, right? That's so lovely. Yeah. One thing that we had worked on together. So for more context for people, again, I work with people who are designing their first program or they're refining their program. So you're in the refinement stage, and that's why I had offered you at the mentorship level, because I knew there was so much more that we were going to create and co-create together, because you had an offer already designed. And that is around what I teach in module 4 for my people, is the rhythmic revenue. And so it was so interesting and so lovely that our core values aligned, as you are desiring to create rhythms in your business, going with the things that you teach on with the medicine wheel and the seasons. And I just so happen to also really value that. And there will be seasons in our business where we might be reevaluating, or we might be not launching, but like creating those emails, for instance, which was one thing that surprised you. So we talk about a lot, having money goals, having real big visions, but actually having these process goals along the way, so that we can celebrate and be seen in these structural steps, that we can see that we're making progress on our master plan. And so one thing that had surprised you was how like articulate, and you knew you were a great writer, but how articulate that you would become, and how many dang emails you would produce over our time together. So I wanted you to talk about that, this surprise, and how that surprised you.
Yeah. I mean, one of my main goals in coming to work with you was about systematizing my launch, because I did not enjoy launching. It was extremely exhausting and just like haphazard. And I didn't feel like I had like a real framework or system for it. And so that was one of my main goals, was like figuring that out. And I knew launch emails would be a part of that. But through like working with you, and I think you were in a launch, because I was like very early on in the launch period. So I was on your email list. And so I was able to see kind of how you did your launch. And I saw that you did it for a whole month. And I was like, how do you do that? How do you write an email every day? And so I think just by like seeing you do it, and then witnessing your process, and then recognizing what I wanted to build, which is something that I can replicate over time, I started to think about, because I was doing like 2.5 maybe week launches or so, which just felt like a lot. But I never really thought about doing a month. And so I think, seeing you do it, it gave me a model that, that can be done. That feels a little different. And that actually is what helped me break through with basically doing a mini launch aligned to the medicine wheel. And so I could write my emails based on every direction, which for folks listening, that probably won't make any sense to you at all. But, but anyways, I needed a framework for it. And so seeing you do it for a month, then I saw what was possible. And then I just decided, I didn't plan for a month that I was going to write 29 emails. I basically decided like the week before I was going to launch, like, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to write an email a day. Because it was also May. So I was like, okay, it's Mother's Day month. That's a great excuse to write an email a day, whatever, try to build up some energy. And so, I ended up writing 29 emails. Some I was ahead, some I was like the night before, and then I got sick twice that month. It's crazy, but I was very surprised with the amount that came out of me once I set my framework and I understood what I was doing and what I was writing to, it just flowed. And I was also surprised by how many people read the emails. I thought my open rate would dramatically decrease, and it didn't. It stayed at like 44%, some were 50%. And I was just like, wow, people are like opening these emails every freaking day. And sometimes I would talk to my mamas and they're like, yeah, I committed that I was going to read your email every single day this month since you were doing this. I'm like, this is crazy. So that was inspiring actually to see how many people want to hear from me, even if I'm talking to them every single day, which is like some of my old trauma that I'm healing, is that people don't want to hear from me, or that I'm annoying, or that people are like, they don't want anything to do with Tiff. So that's stuff that I'm healing. And so that was actually really like a beautiful thing to witness in the process.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing, because I know so many people and women of color who have this come up. If I share an email and people unsubscribe, am I being pushy? Like, do people actually want to hear? Or, isn't there a program out there like this? And why would people buy from me? But I saw you over our time together, not only face those old wiggly leftover things from our trauma and our past, but really face it fearlessly, because that's scary to have those things come up, and be willing to fully say yes, like this is here, and love ourselves through that, and own the thing we committed to. Because the thing we committed to is what is bringing that to the surface. So it's like, oh goodness, the more I commit to my dream, the more old shit comes up. And this is why the power of support is there, because and the shit comes up, it's like we have each other to talk to. You have the community group, and I have been through this myself and seen it hundreds of times of like people just like looking at one unsubscribe and letting it hurt them. And of course, you just get to be gentle, because if it's trauma, then of course it's okay that it still stings a little, but are we committed? And what I've seen from you and what it really takes is your commitment to who you want to become, your commitment to that high value guide, and owning that more and more every day of like, even if someone doesn't want to hear your emails or does unsubscribe, it's like, actually more people want to hear from Tiff. And by committing to this, you actually get to show yourself that, rewire that old trauma, and get the result that you wanted. Your result that you wanted was more people at a higher price point and to really value you. And by you and your expression, other people really were just like, yes, like I can't get enough of Tiff. Like, when's your next launch? Like, what do you got going on? And you may even see that folks that didn't buy this round, the beautiful thing about sustainability is that they are watching. They saw you launch. They're ready, or they're saving up for the next round. And that's the beautiful thing, a core off that you relaunch.
Yeah. And that's what some people did say when they didn't join this round. It's like, yeah, I'm going to be saving for the next one, or the timing isn't right at this one, but I'll be in the fall or whatnot, But I think that for me, that was one of the like most valuable things in working with you, is like you have these like little nuggets of reframes that are like, personally for me, like very helpful, because a lot of people will tell you like, change your thinking, be a positive thinker, and I'm just like, a lot of that for me is bullshit. It doesn't work for me. Like, I'm not the person that's going to just stand in front of the mirror and tell me how great I am. Like, that doesn't work for me. And so for me, I've always been someone where like, if I have a negative thought or negative thinking, I need to find replacement thoughts. Like, it's the same with habits. Like when I stopped drinking soda years ago, I needed a replacement, which was limeade. I created limeade to replace it with. So it's like for you, I feel like you helped me have the alternative thought or the alternative way of approaching it in a way that felt aligned to me. And that's why I enjoyed working with you. And it's also why, and I did really enjoy the VIP, because I knew what I needed, and I needed the one-on-one, and I needed that coaching, and I needed you to be available to me. I'm not going to go into the Facebook group. I'm not going to go into these other, and I knew that. And I told you that from the beginning, because with 3 kids, a full-time job, building a business, like I'm not going to be the most active person in these groups. And I knew that because I've been a part of these kinds of groups plenty of times, and I know how they're structured. But I felt like you being able to be available to me on the WhatsApp, and I could message you, and we had our thing going all the time, and I could kind of be at my pace and offer up when I'm struggling, and then you could give me reframes. I found that particularly very helpful with where I am, because I am not in the beginning building. I am refining, and like it's very detailed things that, like, questions that I have that like might not be applicable to everyone at their stage. So yeah, I feel like it was those reframes and the accessibility to you that, was like the most valuable for me.
Oh, thanks so much for sharing, because so often it's like, wow. And I want to share kind of behind the scenes of what's coming up for me in this moment of like, you all who are watching can see that Tiff is an empowered woman, right? Like, that's cool. And so when empowered people come together and I'm able to help an empowered woman just refine a thought rather than working with somebody who's just like, I don't know what's next in my life. Like, I'm just at the bottom of the barrel. It's like, it took me owning my value, my presence, to be able to go, yes, I'm ready to help other empowered people to refine. And it becomes about those 1-degree shifts and not about blowing up your business and starting from scratch or needing to create a whole another offer. And so I want to thank you for bringing and trusting the depths and your vulnerability with me. And for anyone watching, like, whether you choose myself as a coach or you choose Tiff as a coach or guide, it's like, you get to show up vulnerably. You get to really understand and take what you've already done, and it will elevate you into a high value guide status. Because becoming a high value guide is not about having perfect thoughts all the time or this kind of toxic positivity. It's about bringing what's real and having those blind spots being met. And because it's like, I'm not in Tiff's business, it's like, it's so much easier for me to just hear what she's saying and then go, oh, like, here's that just 1-degree shift, or here's another way to look at it. And that is the power of the work that we get to do. And anyone watching is probably wanting to do in their lives. And I wanted to ask, like, how has this environment and this container helped you to own that, like, wow, you're actually a high value guide for your people and help them even deeper than you. I mean, you do help your people so incredibly, but actually seeing that, has that affected the way you see the way your coaching has evolved people?
You mean like being in the business immersion has helped me?
Yeah. And owning your gifts as a channel and high value guide. That's something we can talk about.
I mean, I feel like, honestly, just seeing you, like you've said many times, like, I'm a savage, like when it comes to like your content or like how you just show up, or like, I don't care if people unsubscribe because it's creating space, or like, I'm gonna be on IG every day. Like, I think that's what helped me kind of like step more into me, because those models are important to see, and to see you just like, like unapologetically just own your shit and own your voice and just share. It gave me permission to like, I can do that too. And like face whatever fears I have or whatever blocks I have to stepping into that, because there is that deep knowing that, I'm really good at what I do. And I've created an incredible program, and like, I'm exceptional in this area. And when you step into your purpose and when you step into what you're great at, like, yes, you're going to have doubts and you're going to have fears, but it's like, if in the end I truly want to build this thing I'm saying I want to build, then I gotta move past whatever those blocks are. So honestly, I just think that seeing you as someone who feels aligned to my values, and as someone who I feel is authentic in their way of operating and being and doing business, it was just another model of showing me that, like, yes, I can be in my values aligned kind of way of operating, but I can also be a fucking savage, and I can just like own my voice and put it out, and the people who want to listen will listen, and the people who don't want to listen, they will not. And I don't have to worry about that because it's not anything that I can actually control. And I loved when you taught about, like, you call them lurkers. I started calling them observers, but like, just even knowing that, like, oh yeah, there are people watching me who are not engaging in the content. They're listening, they're watching, they're witnessing. I'm speaking to them as well because I'm that person. I'm an observer. I never engaged in your content. I didn't even barely know who you were, but my friend told me about you. I looked you up. It was what I needed. So I went straight to buying. Like, I got on the call with you and then went straight to buying. Like, there are those people out there for me as well. And people who signed up for this round are like, I've been following you for years and have wanted to sign up. I followed you before I was even a mother. And then I became a mom and knew I wanted to join your program. So it's like, yeah, I didn't even know this person was around. So I think just, again, those things help me move past those little blocks that can become big blocks that keep us stuck. And I think just seeing you and witnessing your process and like learning how you've thought about things and feeling like you're genuinely like authentic person who is both spiritual, but also you're about your money too, like me. I'm like, okay, this feels good. And this is possible because you're doing it. That means that I can do it. So I feel like that's partly why I signed up. Cause it's like, you want to see someone who looks like you, feels like you, who values things the same way, who's doing it. That's like why we exist, right? It's like that inspiration to show that it's possible.
Yeah, thanks so much for saying this. Some things that were coming through and remembering our talks in our private channel in the mentorship program is that you had really owned your magic. Like you had come from the world of business strategy and numbers. And I remember right from the beginning, you being like, hey, like I could easily get stuck in this, but that's not why I'm here. Like that's how we weave this. And I think that's the medicine that both you and I bring to our clients is this combination, this weaving. And it's your program is that as well of like, how do we be a mama? And really that's our natural expression, but also not give up on our dreams and have this plan, sacrifice one for the other. And when I think about who my dream clients are, it is people who want to weave and have both the magic and the money. Well, that's a limitation, but the magic and the money is important for us to be able to continue to thrive. And you really owned that magic. You stopped looking at the numbers and the numbers actually became magical. Like I'm noticing why you wanted the seven generations, 7 clients. There was another 7. I wrote 7.
Yeah, I'm in cohort 7.
Yes.
Hey there, visionary leader. If you're resonating with this message, I'd like to invite you into your next level life and business. Enrollment has begun for the Conscious Creative Business Immersion. This is my signature group container to help you design an offer so delicious, so juicy, so based on your soul gifts that you are thrilled to invite your soulmate clients inside of it. I'm going to teach you how to promote this offer with a ton of heart and to sell out this offer with ease to meet your revenue goals. I would love to have you inside if you are a visionary leader who knows that they are great at what they do. You'd like to collapse the timeline on how long it takes to reach consistent income with an offer that you truly love. Go to the link in the show notes to apply for the Conscious Creative Business Immersion. I will be sitting with your application individually, and I will send an email to let you know if you've been accepted in a few days after application. Thank you for trusting me with your vision, and I can't wait to see what we co-create.
Exactly. And next round for me is cohort 7. It's like, okay, really like numbers also are magical. They're not this goal that we need to set that we punish ourselves if we don't create. And I'm seeing the smile on your face if you had this goal of 7, but 6 is also very very beautiful number. And it's the number of pregnancy, which if you're helping mamas, that's really cool as well. But I wanted to touch on, this channeling, because what you've been able to own is like, right, there's magic going on beyond our physical, like, knowledge and what this little human wants. And there's something deeper. And I wanted to know if you wanted to speak on that a little bit. What's your particular magic and the things that you learned about your channel over our time together?
What do you mean, my magic?
Yeah, well, magic is a very broad term, but we talked about the money, and you've definitely made it, I guess, around a $40,000 launch.
Yeah, it was like 34,000.
Oh, wow. 33, also sacred number. Very cool. So the money's there, but the magical thing that I'm speaking to is this channel, this channel that we can kind of go, oh, channels are woo-woo. Channels are these things that, like, these people that exist that channel from like a specific being. And what I speak to often is that we're all this channel, and the yogic tradition will say we have this channel, this central line, our central nervous system. And what came from what I saw from you is that you started to channel your content. You started to become a channel of your words, and more so own that you already were. And if you'd like to speak to that.
I feel like I've definitely always been a channel, but it's about trusting that. And I think, again, I learned from you because you had like just kind of like a side comment mention that you channel your content. And I had never thought about that. But when I like reflected on my own writing style, I realized, oh yeah, I do channel a lot of my content. And you said, oh yeah, I write a lot of my stuff in my notes on my phone. And I was like, oh yeah, I tend to do that too. So again, it was just like affirming the things that I was naturally doing, but maybe questioning whether or not that was the way or the right or wrong way. And so I think you, again, just doing what you were already doing helped me see that, like, oh, my natural inclinations to like kind of channel my newsletters or my writing on my phone first, and then putting it in something to like edit and clarify, like, it just gave me permission to just let the channel be open, to just write, to just express. And that has been a big kind of goal and intention for mine over the last few years, is to like give myself permission to freely express myself. And that is letting my channel be fully open, because I am a channel. Like, I can channel a lot, and it's part of my gift. I'm a seer. Like, I channel a lot for my clients that my mamas that I work with, and I'm a visionary. I can see. And so a lot flows through. But I think what you modeled was that you can have a business and you can kind of be a spiritual person, and they can align. They don't have to be at opposite ends. And that's what I'm trying to build. And I think, again, seeing you do it, I was like, yes, okay. So I can just channel, like, in my business, in my writing, even though I'm not promoting myself as like a spiritual guide or teacher. Like, I don't present myself in that way. But I am a spiritual person. I'm very connected to my ancestors and my beliefs and my channeling abilities. So I think just like being able to bring that into the day-to-day of my business was hugely impactful and like liberating, honestly. And that's how, like, I was able to, write 29 emails and get on back on IG, and like start a podcast and like do all these things that I've been wanting to do. But, again, it's just like sometimes there's those little blocks that, like, when we can see a different example or we can reframe it, it just opens up the floodgates. And that's what I feel like happened. I feel like a lot of floodgates opened in the last 5 months.
Oh, wow. Liberating is what I wrote, what I heard, and trust. So when we're talking about what it really takes, sometimes people think, oh, I'm going to come into a program like Christina's and I'm going to just get all this strategy and get these spreadsheets and like finally systemize, which you did. You had like 1,000 times better spreadsheets than I've ever created, because that was a goal of yours, to systemize And it was unique to you. That's why it was so beautiful and unique to your beliefs in the massive wheel. It was magical. But what I'm hearing also is the magic in trusting our voice. When we trust our voice, that and we allow whatever wants to be expressed to express through, this is tapping into something deep, something magical that oftentimes we can't put into words, but I have made it my mission to articulate what is this mystical side of things that make this 3D realm so juicy, so alive, so like why we chose to really be here as an ancestor. So like you are that healed ancestor for 7 generations forward, and that's big. And trusting that your voice is a part of that, that is what I'm hearing is truly liberating. So thank you for going on this journey with me of like playing with both the strategy, both the systems and the tangible things, and the setting those goals and being willing to look at the money and the numbers without scolding ourselves, but then also willing to look at the mysticism and the magic that can occur when we surrender, when we trust, and you stepping into that unified field, that masculine and feminine, yin and yang. Like you are such a model, talking about model, you're such a model for your mamas. And I wanted to end our discussion on that because you've talked so much about it. And sometimes we think, okay, yeah, I'm going to learn so much in the program. I'm going to join the plan, the Wild Mama Master Plan. I'm going to learn so much. And you're going to join the Conscious Creative Business Immersion and you'll learn so much. And you will. I have 6 modules. Tiffany just refilmed her course content for the
8 modules. Yeah, I just re-recorded everything.
Like what? Like that takes some magic and commitment.
Yeah.
And so they're going to learn new things. They're going to be moved. But that piece, learning, but also the high value guidance, us becoming high value guides, is trusting that our wisdom and our presence and our coaching and our reframes and our modeling is just as valuable, if not more valuable than a course that someone may or may not open. And you there for your clients at that level, like, wow, this is why people are hopping into your program like hotcakes, they say. They're putting it up like hotcakes. That's a term? But yeah, I wanted to talk about end with what really is your program about, who it's for, all the magic that you're creating in these modules and for your people, and give you that space to like shine in that area.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess for me, one of the things that inspired me to create my course outside of like, serving mamas was, as a mama, I had been searching for years on like figuring out how to heal, figuring out how to find my purpose, figuring out how to make shit happen. Because even though I'm very much a doer now and I do finish what I start now, that was not my story, years ago. I was a perpetual starter who didn't finish things. I was coping in really, unhealthy ways through like just binge watching TV and eating lots of sugary foods, just like struggling because I was living in Chicago. I wasn't happy living in Chicago. I became a young mom, like at 20 something, through an arranged marriage. Like I had so many things to work through. And every place that I looked, I felt like it was so compartmentalized and didn't address me as a whole person. It's like, if you have mental health, needs, you go here. If you have, whatever professional development goals, you go here. If you want your physical health, you go here. And it's just all separate. And there's nothing that like saw me as like a whole person. And then every time I would pay thousands of dollars to join a course, I was always sorely disappointed by how terribly designed these courses were. But because they had the marketing and they had the right words and whatever, they were getting all these people to sign up. And I just felt like they sucked. Like there was no value here. And there wasn't any guidance. There wasn't any true guidance and culture. There's very few courses and programs that I have done that I have felt like what I paid for, I actually got. Yours being one of them, and yours being the highest that I paid for any of them. But I do feel like I got what I paid for. So part of my goal in designing a program was to have an exceptional program that was actually valuable, because I felt like it was so out of alignment that people were marketing and selling at really high prices and failing to actually serve people the way that I felt like people deserve to be served. And then for me as a mother, to actually be able to serve mamas in the way that we actually need. So I knew I wanted to create a program for a long time. I did not actually know that I wanted to serve mamas. I just knew I wanted to help people heal and navigate this like ethereal place and also reach their goals, because I feel like a lot of the spiritual kind of communities are too in the air. They're not grounded enough. And they're not practical enough. And then I think some of the like business courses, they're also not practical enough. They're not like thoughtful in their process of how to move people along. So I knew that I wanted to do both. I wanted to really be a great facilitator and guide and like bring in that spiritual piece around healing and trauma. But I also wanted the practical approach of like creating a master plan. And so I, eventually realized that it was mamas that I wanted to serve, because in reflecting on myself, I'm like, I've been doing all this for 10 plus years and I'm doing it as a mama. Oh shit. Yeah. There's probably a lot of other mamas out there who also have dreams, who also have desires, who also have ambitions. And the world is just telling them, no, you're a mama now. You need to sacrifice yourself for everyone else. You need to be a martyr. You need to prioritize everyone else's needs over your own. Girl, you cannot dream. You got babies at home. And all of that like is so crushing when you are someone who has high dreams, high ambitions, visions for your life, deep desires to change like family cycles and like generational health and wealth and well-being and all of these things. It's like, you expect me to just let all of that die. And so many mamas, because there's no clear path or a model or a way, and because we're navigating so many things at one time, it's actually easy for us to just like give in and just say, okay, like I'm going to relinquish my dreams in order to meet these unrealistic standards or these like ideas about what it means to be a mother. And so I created my program because I wanted to show that it is possible to be your whole self as a mama, to be fully in your just being and in your dreams and in your visions, and actually be doing something about that and be a great mother, right? And be a service to others without sacrificing yourself. So my program, Wow Mama in general, my business is all about that. It's just showing that that's possible. It's uplifting mamas. It's like, aligning us back to the seasons and, the natural rhythms and seasons of nature. But the program is a 3-month cohort program that really helps mamas to, truly move through those areas of stuckness and truly shift that thinking. And so it's broken into 8 modules. And week 1 is all about kind of like your ideal day, kind of starting to uncover your visions, thinking about your why, thinking about your journey to this moment. And then week 2, we get into the 3 core pillars that I think everyone needs in order to be truly in alignment with themselves, which is your vision, your values, and your whole self. And on the medicine wheel, there's the directions above, below, and center. So above is grandfather sky, and that's where your vision is. Below is grandmother earth. That's where your values are. At least this is what I've created. And then the center is like your whole self, and it's where peace resides. So we come into alignment with our vision, our values, and our whole self. And then week 3 is all about facing your reality, which is the hard shit that people don't want to do. And so, in order to move through your all the hard stuff, we really have to know who we are. We have to know kind of where we're going in order to have motivation to move through the trauma, which is what I've learned through my own journey. And then once we get through there, we come into a rest week, and then we get into alignment, and then it's all about master planning. We master, we map out our master plan, we create our success rituals, and then we actually take action on our plan. And I don't know if I have my own book, but oh yeah, here. It ends with a printed out actual mama master plan. Because, life is difficult and you actually can forget who you are. And so by having a physical book that really outlines who you are, what you want as a mama, it's something that you can come back to and constantly align to, because it's a lifestyle. It's not something that just like you do my program and then that's it. No, you do my program and then you go live your life and you figure that shit out. Using your vision, your values, your whole self as a filter for making decisions every day. So, I mean, it's an incredible program. And like when you were talking about, people signing up and, not doing the course, my course is designed very strategically in a way that people who start my program finish my program, and everybody goes through the course and my content is dripped. So no one can move ahead. We're all in the same, weeks together. And they consume the content on their own, but every week we have our coaching call, and that's where the accountability comes in. Because I understand mamas, I know what we need, and we need flexibility, but we also need structure and accountability. And so I've structured my program in a way that helps mamas know that they can not only start, but they will finish. And we take a lot of imperfect action in order to finish. And I'm very proud of that retention. Again, that's very important to me. I don't want to take people's money and not actually help them see through the journey. And so that's why there's that application for my program, because I'm not willing to just have anyone in my space, because it's a partnership. And I think that the whole high value guide, it's about the partnership. It's not about I'm guiding you and telling you what to do. It's about, that you want change. I have a lot of insight. And then we have the curriculum that's centered on the sacred medicine wheel to support us. It's those things coming together and then being in community with other mamas. That's the magic. It's the things together. It's the collaboration together that actually facilitates the real change and transformation. And that's why 50 plus mamas have done my program and have finished my program. So, it works. So yeah, I said a lot, but yeah, that's the mama master plan.
A lot of great things. Like, I want to reflect what I heard as well. What I'm hearing is no mama left behind. And that's like really such cool. It's such a valuable thing, because there are so many programs where you do hear that there are coaches out there that are just great marketers, but they're not that great of facilitators, or they don't care about their clients like you and I actually care about our clients. And so I'm hearing that, like, wow, if you're a mama and you like have a big dream and you don't want to sacrifice motherhood for your dreams or your dreams for motherhood, like how can anyone in my audience get in touch with you to find out about the next round of your program?
Yeah, the easiest, just email me, tiff@wild-mama.com. You can also join my newsletter, but again, similar to you, I talk to my people. Like, it's not you don't come into the community and you're just like an ethereal person or like another follower. Like, so if you're genuinely interested, just email me and we can just talk. Because again, it's about the relationship and partnership, because we have to know that we can work well together. You can follow me on Instagram at the.wild.mama.project. But I think getting on my newsletter and emailing me directly is like the best way, because I'm a person, I'm accessible, and I want to know who you are. And I do really, really care about the mamas that I work with, and, want to be of service and value. So for anyone who's genuinely interested in connecting, those are probably the best way. I can send you my newsletter link after if folks want to subscribe. Yeah.
Yes, I will leave all these links available wherever this interview ends up. It's going to be dispersed.
Yeah.
Beautiful things, and it'll be easy access for people to get on your newsletter, because I'm on her newsletter, and these words are potent. And when we get to share our stories, when we own our channel, and we really understand that we are high value guides and there's a spectrum, but we will call in not just any clients, but clients that are soul aligned, clients that are joy to work with, clients that are committed and are really working with us for the right reasons, not about what Tiff can do for mamas, but about how she can hold space for mamas, how we can hold space for each other to rise. And we need each other. And I learned so much from my clients, and you in particular. And so I wanted to reflect that to you now, of like, wow, what an inspiration to be able to coach and guide and give you those little nuggets that made a difference in your launch and in your confidence. And it is about that. At this stage, it's not about needing somebody to rewire our whole minds, but it's about that space that we get to hold for each other. So thank you for your commitment. And thank you so much for this interview and for your high value guidance. That's a thing.
So no, I appreciate you. Thank you. It was an honor to chat and talk. And yeah, we still have 3 coaching calls, which is amazing. Like, we're not even done yet. Right? Oh my God. So
I know. Thanks for coming on early, because we do still imagine what can happen in 5 months. 3 more calls, like touching on like how the refinement after you meeting all the goals that you've set for yourself, been such it's like, wow, to really know that I can call in my dream clients as well. You really follow through all the things that you desire, and you were vulnerable throughout the process. So anybody watching, like, really, if you have a dream, if you have a commitment, if you have the desire to follow through, then we're going to go great places together, because I cannot commit I did not commit for Tiffany. Like, I may have like checked in on her if I didn't hear from her for a week, but like, I was not the one committed to her vision, but I was. As soon as signs up on me, with me, I commit to your vision and holding you to it. But the real commitment comes from you and comes from within. So I want to thank you for that. And the last question, if you have any words of advice for someone on the edge of jumping into that next level program, or getting guidance or getting support, what would you say to them?
I mean, the thing I was just going to say was, like, money and paying a high price is not what's going to solve your problem in your business. It's not what's going to get you there. It's, for me, about being very clear about what you want and need and committing to the process. And so I think for me, I did my due diligence of really finding out like who Christina was, and, you know, trying to figure out if we were aligned, because I have done so many business programs and cohorts and all of these things, and have been, like I said, sorely disappointed. And because this is a significant investment, and it was for me 4 years into my business, it was a significant investment for me to make. I needed to know that we were going to work well together, and that this partnership was going to be fruitful to me. And I also had to own what I was and wasn't looking for. I wasn't just trying to be chosen by Christina. I was trying to make sure, you know, based on my goals, is she the person who can help me in a way that I feel is truly aligned? And so I think it's really important to know what you're looking for, and not be out here just like searching and like, you know, throwing money at the problem. Like, really think about the relationship that you want to establish. And I think if you do want to build a relationship with someone and have a true partner, I do think you're great, Christina, for that. Because again, I knew what I needed, and I didn't need a group. Even though I valued our group calls, that's not why I was signing up. And so for some people, that's what you need. You need that community. You need that, you know, the group thing. I knew I needed one-on-one coaching, and I wanted a different approach to marketing. And so I loved your curriculum and just your reframing and just your different approach. You know, that was more aligned to that soul-led kind of framing. So that's my advice to people, is to just be thoughtful and ask great questions and make the investment, because you have some goals and you know where you want to go and how this is going to help, because we are building a business. So you do need to be like thoughtful in that business decision. But yeah, other than that, I feel like, yeah, I think we talked on it, just the reality of what it actually takes, and it doesn't happen overnight. So being committed to the process, pacing yourself, and like not forgetting to enjoy your life while also building your business.
Yes. The last thing that's coming through is all those times where you're like, yeah, thanks for the call, I'm heading off to the beach with the kids. It's like, you are a woman that knows how to enjoy her life, and
Yes.
It's like, you're so authentic, and that's why we aligned. It's like, what you see is what you get from both of us.
That's right.
Authenticity is key. It's like, I'm not just going to tell other people to enjoy my life and then not enjoy mine. And so I love that vision of you at the beach after our calls, and your commitment to your joy has really made a difference in our group, in our community, and in my life. So thank you for being an amazing client. And I can't wait to talk to you. I think tomorrow our call is.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's go. And I'm going to reach out to you if anybody wants to work with you. Reach out to either one of us.
Beautiful.
And let us know. All
okay.
right.
Bye.